for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, Easy Mutt. Use code VENOM at checkout for 5% off. Yo, what's up guys, VenomFire here back from the video, and today we bring you guys another Madden 21 money play. This one's going to be out of the gun bunch formation, actually a very requested gun bunch, the Detroit Lions. Haven't done too many videos out of this formation, but there are some unique plays in it. Just going to go over some of the basic ones. You got post corner read, which is actually a pretty solid play. It's very playbook exclusive. You also have curl at the top, which is of course the play we're going to be talking about today, and then clear out FL in, which I have talked about in the past. But going back to this curl play, it's a very unique play. I'm not sure exactly how many playbooks it is in. It might just be Detroit. Maybe it's in one other, but very unique play, playbook exclusive type stuff. Of course, you don't really need too many abilities. I am using the Bucks, so I'm going to try and just use the Backfield Master and Tight End Apprentice, just kind of limit to those. But yeah, you don't necessarily need abilities to run it successfully. Of course, run your bunch on the wide side of the field. Now I'm just going to run some basic coverage on defense. Taking a look at our play art. We have a couple of things to look at. Now, if I just run the stock, you'll see that we have this deep S post, kind of a deep curl route, and then Antonio Brown is on this weird little drag route that actually ends up stopping. Now, we're going to do a lot, and we're pretty much going to build around one route, and that's going to be Mike Evans's little S post. As far as our first setup, I'm just going to create a pretty good sound base setup. So all I'm going to do is put Y on a little flat like this. I'm going to put B on a curl, and I'm just going to put RB on a little slant. So we're going to run it like this. Now, here comes the interesting decision. With this S post, I can do one of two different things. I can leave it as how it's, or I can leave it how it is, or I can actually smart route it. So I'll show both. Usually I like to leave it. If it's a little bit smart routed, then it becomes a little bit too short in my opinion. Some zones can get over the top. It's a little bit easier for them to user and lurk a slant and the post route. But I'll just show what it looks like not smart routed. Again, I'm going to also motion over this slant. Take a look at Evans. You see he's going to go in. And he gets pretty deep down the field with the low ball. You see how it is kind of pretty close to where Miles Jack is. Of course, probably should have bullet passed it. But let's show it when I smart route it, and you'll see how it is. It doesn't make too big of a difference if I remember correctly, but he's just going to break a little bit earlier. You'll see he's going to break right about here, and then you can kind of throw it right there. It overall just gets in a tough spot against zone. If you want a quicker break against man coverage, that's certainly an option. But as far as fitting it into tight spaces, I'm a bigger fan of just leaving it stock. So that, of course, is not the only thing you can do. And usually X will be some good distract. We're kind of using it as a distraction. Of course, you want to throw it a couple times so he's worrying about it, but we really just want it to either move his user away or focus on putting zones on the inside of the field. We don't want him throwing all of his zones on the outside. We want him, or we want us rather, to be able to open up some of these other routes. So again, you saw right there, we threw the flat. Here I'm going to throw the slant route, just step up in the pocket, get that little low ball, and you see it's just very opened. Again, because of how far the post goes down the field, it's going to be very difficult for someone to lurk both the slant and the deep post. Really, they would be able to do it here, but at this point, they're going to have to make a decision, and they can't really use her both. So, whereas in the other one, he's going to break very soon, right about here probably. And there you see he's going to end up cutting like right about here. It's pretty easy for you to kind of pass off at that point from the post route to the slant route, whereas here, the user still is going to have to go a far way. And even later, we can throw this slant as you see right here, but we can also wait another second and hit Mike Evans on whatever route we want. Of course, going back on the other side, we still have a flat with Gronkowski, which is stock. Not the worst thing in the world. And then we have a curl depending on the coverage that could be open as well. Here you see I'm going to throw the curl, and he's sitting there wide open. Even without Gunslinger, we're still able to get the ball there pretty quickly and make that possession catch. So let's hop into our next setup. And our next setup is going to be something a little bit similar. Now, what I'm pretty much going to do is I'm going to keep this little curl flat combination, but we're just going to do something different on the back end a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put A on a little corner route, and I'm also going to smart route it. In the other route I'm going to do is put RB on a little drag. We're just going to motion him across. So this is a look at the setup. Overall, it's just kind of a basic route combination, but it's just some unique stuff. This is going to do a better job of just opening up the post route, I think, because people are going to see the drag. and then they might forget about the post route. That's what I've noticed whenever I've ran this play online a little bit. I noticed that the user is going to probably recognize this player right here. Also, I could throw a playmaker on him, but he's going to kind of recognize the drag. And he's going to not notice that X is actually a post route. He might think it's a little streak or a C route. And there you see the drag also is going to do a good job of actually pulling down stock zone. So this is a hook curl zone. You see he's playing deep. He's going to come down for the drag. Doesn't really recognize or Mike Evans' route rather. And there you see he's going to get over the top. And that's an easy pass for us. Bullet pass or a low ball. Again, you see the flats open, the curls open. Over here, again, depending on how the coverage is set up, you will have the drag or you will have the corner route. Usually going to be the drag unless they have their zone drop set or they play hard flats. But I'll show that again here. And right here, I'm just going to kind of wait. It also gives us a good little late play threat. So if nothing's open, I can kind of slide out here. And there you see I can hit Gronkowski. We got hit, but Gronk's open or the drag is open as well. So it gives you overall just some pretty solid options in my opinion. You can do a good amount of stuff with it. And I will show some other ways to run it or some other variations of the setup, but just a solid setup. It's going to be difficult to defend. And again, not too many people see route combinations like this out of bunch. They're expecting Z spot or other plays like that. So something like this could definitely end up throwing a person off guard. Another little variation of this that you can actually do is to put RB on a little hitch. This is something that I kind of like to do. And I want to snap him as early as I can right about here. This is just going to be some solid spacing. Again, if I were to do this, what I would be more likely to do with B is actually put him on a little out route. So I would probably go with something like this, where I put A on a deep corner route, I hitch RB, I put B on a little out route, smart at him, flat Y of course, and then just hitch that slot receiver as we did right there. Snap him right here. This is going to give us way better spacing with the out route. And you see the out routes, of course, is not going to be open. That was a blind read, but the flat route will. And that out route still can get open sometimes. A little bit better maybe against man coverage. Of course, depending on if you like that route combination or not. But overall, I think it's pretty solid. Anyways, we're going to hop into our last couple variations of the play. Again, it's going to be similar to this little tight end corner out setup in the fact that we're actually going to run kind of the same setup twice. We're just going to change up one of the routes. Now, hopping into our actual setup, we're once again going to flat Y, and we're also going to leave the tight end. Those are going to be our two constants for this play. We're actually going to use Antonio Brown's route. I mentioned it in the beginning, how it's kind of cool. It's a little drag route that stops. If it's man coverage, it's going to keep running, but if it's zone coverage, it stops and sits in a pretty good spot to not only get open, but also pull down potential hook curl zones or vert hook zones. Now, as far as RB, we're going to use, again, these extra routes that we have, and I'm just going to put them on a little cross. Now, this is going to help us just because it's a little bit deeper down the field. I don't like having a slant and then the backside drag, but when you have a crosser and then you have the backside drag with Antonio Brown, that's something that I feel a little bit more comfortable with. So you're going to put Chris Godwin here on a crosser. You're going to motion him across. Not only will this be good against man coverage, but also against zone. He could potentially just get over the top. You see how Antonio Brown does a really good job of pulling down those zones and allowing me to throw it before he gets to the sideline. I'll kind of show you what I was thinking during this instant replay, but you see Chris is just going to kind of go over. Of course, we have the post now. They do kind of run into each other. If that's a little bit of an issue, maybe the next setup is going to be a little bit better, but this still would potentially be a throwable ball right here. And if, of course, you don't like that, maybe I could show you something else later in the video that might open up this spot a little bit better with Mike Evans, but that's neither here nor there. Let's focus on AB's route. You see, he actually goes a little bit deeper than maybe I would like him to, but it works out in our favor because he kind of pulls down that hook curl zone. As you see here, he's just following him up, and then he starts sprinting down 5 yards, opening things up for us. So again, here's a look at that setup. Just cross RB, flat Y, something you can get off relatively quickly with a quick snap type of a setup. Again, you're going to motion him across here. You see, I can also hit AB. If someone's going with a one linebacker type of a defense, a Mike Blitz 3, where they only have their user in the middle of the field, this would be a good setup because you're expecting them to be 10 or 15 yards deeper down the field, and then the Antonio Brown will kind of sit in that soft spot and actually get a little bit more open. So again, here's the setup. I can wait a little bit longer with Chris Godwin's route if I'm not really trying to get him to wait in the sidelines, but you see right there again, I can hit him on the sidelines, or I can throw it just a little bit earlier. Right here, I'm going to actually try and hit Mike Evans on his route, but yeah, this is something that you can get off pretty quickly. If you do have conductor, you should be able to get this off and then just run that motion. But there you see Mike Evans and Antonio Brown that time did a really good job of pulling down not only the left hook curl, but he did the right one as well. Now, the other way you could run it is with RB on a little post route. And this is just going to be a little bit shorter than the crosser, a little bit better against man coverage. Or a little bit, yeah, you see right there, it's just going to be a little bit cleaner. Some people don't like the motion over crosser. If you don't, this would be a little bit better. I like the crosser better personally, but this could certainly be an option for you. Again, you just motion them across, snap it there. This will also kind of prevent RB and X from running into each other. You see right there, pretty successful in doing that. But it is a little bit slower developing, so you're going to need a little bit extra time, especially if you want to hit it on the sideline. If the sideline's not a concern, then that will be fine. But if you want to hit him on the sideline, you're motioning him already from the wide side of the short side. It's a slow developing route. I'll try and hit it here. You'll see you're just going to need a lot of time. And like right there, we get shedded. You're really not going to be able to throw that ball unless you somehow get out of the pocket or he's sending one or two players. Now, the other way I was talking about where maybe I want to open up that deep post a little bit better, this would be the option where I just be on like a little streak. This should pull the outside thirds up a little bit more, and realistically it'll open up Mike Evans in that soft spot a little bit better. Now, you see we have a little bit more space. Of course, if I wanted to open up him to the max, I wouldn't put him on a crosser. I would just go with something like this, where I just drag RB. I have that flat, and I just keep the deep post. This would be 100% focused on the deep post. If I was going with this setup, probably what I'm going to do is put playmaker on that slot wide receiver. But you see, it's just a ton of space. You have the clear out that's going to clear out the outside third and the safety, and then you have the drag that's going to pull down both hook curl zones. Of course, you still have your checkdowns with Y and A respectively, but right there you see I have just enough space to bullet it, even rat catch, before I'm maybe taking a potential hit. But overall, it's going to do it for the video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to support me. Follow me on Twitter. Link will be down below in the description. And peace. I'm out of here.